Good evening, groovy citizens, and happy Saturday to each and every one of you. Listen, I don't know where you live, but right now where I am, it is raining. I mean, it's pouring down raining. And the sad part about it is I had to run from the house, limp from the house, I should say, because I left my umbrella in the car. But that's all right, because I'm going to take it with me. Now, on the flip side, tomorrow is Mother's Day, you guys. So I want to, in advance, wish you all a happy Mother's Day. Whether you have children of your own, you've helped raise kids, whatever the case may be, happy Mother's Day to each and every one of you. And it is going to be a beautiful day tomorrow. So God is good. He's good anyhow. Now, let's jump right on into today's topic. And today's topic is hard times may come, but they don't have to stay. Hard times may come, but they don't have to stay. So, as always, I'll read you some quotes. I'll unpack them a little bit, and then I'm going to bid you good day. This first quote is unknown, because I'm not sure who the guy was that was giving the quote, but I really loved it, so I wanted to share it with you. And he says, at some point, your life is going to get hard. He didn't say only if you live in this neighborhood, or if you live in that neighborhood, or if you have this amount in your bank account or that amount in your bank account. He said at some point, your life is going to get hard. You're not going to see your way out. Everything that can happen will happen. You'll be devastated. You'll be distraught. And you'll think, is this for me? Let me just put a pin right there. Have you ever had a time in your life where you sat back and you said, Lord, is this really happening? Did you really have this in mind for me? Because how do I deserve this? Everybody messes up. Everybody forgets to do something, or everybody does something that they're not necessarily proud of. But you have to say, is this really for me, Lord? Did I really deserve this? We all have said it. And if you haven't, honey, just keep right on living. But I digress. He said, and then he says, this is the end. But in that moment, you'll have a choice. You can either stay down or you can get up and fight one more time. He says, if you can pull yourself together and go at it again, you can get through it. You will get through it. You just got to decide that you're not going to quit. I don't know who needs to hear this topic today, but your whole takeaway for today is simply this: you cannot quit. I get it. Life gets heavy sometimes. Life gets so heavy that sometimes it's hard to hold on to. Sometimes you just want to give up. I know I'm not the only one that's ever been at that point in life where you said, Lord, why do I keep trying? Why do I bother? I just want to let go and just say, take me, because I can't do this. We all have, but just as quick as you do that, God will whisper in your ear and say, hold up now. You're stronger than what you think. So don't let me hear that come out your mouth again. And of course it may come out anyway, but that's just life. But what I'm saying is that the thing is you cannot quit. So often, y'all excuse me because my sinuses are acting up. So often life gets heavy and people decide to just quit. And I'm just asking you not to quit. I know it doesn't look good right now. I know it doesn't feel good right now, but please promise me that you won't quit. And if you ever, and I mean ever, feel like you want to give up and just quit, please reach out to me and let's talk. Let's talk about how you're feeling and what you're going through, because I promise you nothing that you're going through right now should make you ever want to quit. But if it does, let's talk about it. Next quote, unknown. If you can pick yourself up every single time you get knocked down, you can make it. If you can pick yourself up every single time, not every now and then, but every time you get knocked down, then honey, you can make it. Do you know that you have some people in your life right now that you look up to and you think to yourself, wow, that's a strong woman or that's a strong man. You have no idea the things that they've had to go through in life. And guess what? They didn't give up. They picked themselves up, they dusted themselves off, and they kept going. You know why? Because they realized that whatever it was they lost was not as valuable as what God had in store for them going forward. That'll preach in and of itself. Next quote by Oprah Winfrey. She says, even if you are in the middle of a disaster, you can use that disaster for direction. Y'all, that'll shout you right there. We can have the benediction, just go on home. Let me say it one more time. Even if you're in the middle of a disaster, you can use that disaster for direction. Whatever it is that you're going through right now, I want you to use it for your direction. I want you to let that thing show you the direction that you need to take. I want you to let that thing show you who you need to get rid of in your life. I want that thing to show you what your next step needs to be. Stop just getting down, feeling down. Use that as an opportunity to say, okay, Lord, you know what? I need to regroup. What is it that you would have for me to do? What is it that you're trying to show me? Y'all, that's powerful right there. And as always, these quotes will be in the description box. Here's another quote. And this quote is by Bishop T.D. Jakes. He said, life keeps changing. And as life keeps changing, and seasons keep changing, and circumstances keep changing, you got to be flexible enough to change on a dime and switch this way and turn back this way. And if you don't make the right switch, you find yourself stuck. Life changes every day. That's why one day you're happy and full of life. The next day you might be down and feeling out. Because life changes. The key is you've got to be flexible. You've got to be changed. You have to be able to change with it. You can't say, well, no, because my life was on a level 10 just yesterday, and now it's on a level 3. I can't accept that. Well, guess what? That's just life, sweetie. You have to learn to change with it. But this is what he said that really got me. He said, the thing you need to win is resilience. If you think that you want to win in life, which I'm hoping you're thinking that, you have to have resilience. We all have to have resilience. You cannot and you will not make it through this life without resilience. He says, I'm sorry, I had to cut my defrost on. He says, you can't just keep, okay, that's a little too loud. Sorry about that. He says, you can't just keep trying different stuff. And actually, he repeated it several times, because you can never say something didn't work when you didn't have tried. That's the problem. Some of you won't just stick to one thing. You try A doesn't work, so you jump to B doesn't work, so you go to C doesn't work, you go to D doesn't work, and so on and so on. And then by the time you get to the end of the alphabet, and you and I have that conversation, and I say, okay, well, you tried 26 things, and you mean to tell me none of those things work? Well, guess what? I already know why they didn't work, because you didn't stick with them long enough. You said, okay, well, try this, didn't work. Let me go into something else. No, you try A, you stick with A. You might have to tweak it a little bit, but you need to stick with A until you can get it to work. Now, if you tried everything and it's just not working, then you go to B. And so forth and so forth and so on. But stop jumping from one thing to the next thing to the next thing and then get mad because nothing worked. Well, why should it? You didn't stick with anything long enough. I'm sorry. I got caught up in what I was just saying. Oh, he says, greatness takes time. It takes time to build your brand. It takes time to build your life. It takes time to build your career. You've got to be prepared to get 1,000 no's just to get that one yes. Did you all ever notice that? That in life, now, I'm not saying you're going to always have to have 1,000 no's, but I like where he's going with that. You're going to have to get a ton of no's before you get that one yes. There's something that you all have been trying to do to get to be, to go, or whatever, and you've gotten just one no after the next after the next. You've gotten the door closed in your face. You've gotten somebody to say, thanks, you know, we really appreciate your interest, but we're going to have to pass. And then finally, God brings the right person in your life to say yes. That's why I say, don't give up. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your idea, because you will get no's, quite a few no's, before you get that one yes. And again, that quote was by Bishop T.D. Jakes. Our next quote is again by Bishop T.D. Jakes, and he says, "'Cause you won't quit when you got some skin in the game. You won't just walk away easy. You don't violate the covenant when things get tough, because you got some skin in the game. When you don't have nothing invested, it's easy to walk away. See, sometimes some people only want it without struggle. But if you're serious about reeling it in, you have to put in some effort." And again, that was by Bishop T.D. Jakes. And that is so true. And I'm going to tell you specifically what comes to my mind is that in relationships, people are so quick to walk away when there's nothing invested. What do I mean by that? Well, let's just say you and I are dating. We don't have any kids. We're not married. We're just dating. So if things don't work out, guess what? We can both just go our separate ways. However, when you are married and you have a home together, you may have other property together, you have a bank account together, some people, you have children, all of this other good stuff, you've got some serious skin in the game. So you're not as likely to just walk away from that marriage, because in doing so, you're going to lose a lot. Let's just keep it all the way real. You're going to lose a lot. And so chances are you're going to do one of two things. You're either, number one, going to try to work it out, or number two, you're just going to hang in there and say, well, you know what, the hell with it, because if I leave, I'm going to lose too much. But you get where I'm going with it. You're not as quick to walk away from that marriage as you are the relationship where you're just dating someone. And that's just the only example that came to my mind. Our next quote is by Eric Thomas, and he says, "Many of you have lost your competitive edge. Get your competitive edge back. You're not giving 120. You're giving 70. You're giving 60. You're giving 50. And you want what these people who've given sweat, who's given blood, and who's given tears, you want what they paid for, and it ain't free." Y'all, this is powerful right here. That'll shout you too. We have to stop looking at other people's lives and thinking, wow, I want that. And you think it's easy to just snap your fingers and get it. No, it's not. You don't know how much sleep they've lost. You don't know how many relationships they ruined. You don't know how many cars or that were repossessed. You don't know how many homes were foreclosed on. You don't know how many bank accounts were emptied out in order for them to get where they are. So it's all right to want something that somebody else has, but then be prepared to put in the blood, the sweat, and the tears. Stop always looking for something free. And when I say free, I'm talking about for things just to come pouring into you. Yes, we want that. And we pray and we ask God, Lord, you know, I want this thing, whatever that thing may be. And I'm asking that you just open up the windows of heaven and pour out the blessings that I may not have room enough to receive them. And there's nothing wrong with that. But there's some things in life you are going to have to put in the work. Period. End of sentence. You can start a business and you can ask God to bless you with a ton of clients, but if you don't put that business out there, if you don't get your brand out there, nobody's going to know you exist. Nobody's going to know that. So while all I'm saying is it's all right to want some things, because again, everything that looks one way may not always be that way, so be careful what you ask for. But it's all right to want it, but you've got to do your part, okay? It's not going to always be free for you. And last quote, again, is by Eric Thomas. He says, "Your problem is you've given up too easy." He said, I need effort from you. I need you to match whatever effort the enemy is putting up. Whoever your enemy is, match the doggone effort. Y'all, and again, that's by Eric Thomas. That's my last quote, and I'm going to end with this. The devil stays busy. So if the devil is coming at you with 120%, I need you to match that plus some. So you give it back 150%. Stop letting the devil beat you down with 120% of effort and all you putting in is 10. Come on now, and then you expect to go somewhere. No, baby, it doesn't work that way. You've got to do your part. And remember what I said in the beginning, that hard times may come, but they don't have to stay. Life will try you. Life has tried me. I'm pretty sure it's tried you. And if it hasn't, keep on living, because that's just a part of life. Here's the other thing. We can't grow without situations happening to us, I should say. We just can't grow. What reason do you have to grow and become a better person if you just sit back and life is just great? There's no reason for you to change. Why? Because life is perfect. Without issues and circumstances, we have no reason to trust God or to call on God. Why? Because life is perfect. And unfortunately, some people only go to God when life isn't perfect. I'm thankful I'm not that person. I talk to God every day. A lot of times I talk to God and go to God in prayer. When I say talk to God, I mean go to God in prayer. And I'm not asking for anything for myself, but I'm praying and asking him for stuff for other people. Or sometimes I go to him just to thank him. Thank him for what he's done, thank him for what he's doing, and thank him for what he's going to do. But what I'm saying is that you have to understand that issues are necessary if you plan on changing. Again, without issues, you have no reason to change, and there's no reason for you to trust God. Why? Because your life is perfect. You don't need anything. You don't really need anybody. But that's not the way life works. Life is going to happen. It's going to happen to you. It happens to me. It's going to happen to your neighbor, your family members. Everybody that you love are going to experience issues from time to time. The thing is that you've got to do your part so that you don't stay there. Life will knock all of us down. But the thing is are you going to allow it to knock you down and stay down? Or are you going to brush yourself off, get back up, and keep moving? That's a choice that only you can make. I'm going to tell you, as far as I'm concerned, I refuse to stay down. I'm just too strong of a person, both physically and mentally, to allow life to knock me down, and I'm just going to stay there. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Life knocks me down, guess what? I'm going to get back up. And here's the thing, y'all, and I promise I'm going to leave you. Life comes for me. Life knocks me down. I'm going to get up, and not only am I going to brush myself off, but I'm coming out swinging. And I promise you, I'm swinging harder than life is swinging, because I'm determined to be where I need to be where I want to be. I'm determined to have the things that I've worked my butt off on. If you know me, then you know I have a lot of tails. So I'm working hard, and I refuse to let life just knock me down and give up. God has brought me too far. He has brought me too far for me to give up now. Listen, I don't know who needed to hear this today, but it is my hope and my prayer that you get something from it. It allows you to be able to go out there and decide you're tired of giving up. That when life knocks you down, that you're going to get back up and you're going to swing even harder than you were swinging before. If you're new to watching my videos, I want to say welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. If this is not your first rodeo, welcome back. Y'all know I miss you when I don't get a chance to see you. Go out there, you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Again, if you are a mom or mother figure, I want to wish you a happy and blessed Mother's Day. Regardless of what you choose to do the rest of this weekend, I just ask that you do it in such a way that you are just being so careful. Because, y'all, we live in a world where we have to be extra careful everywhere we go. You can't even go to the grocery store without stuff happening these days. You can't even go get gas without stuff happening these days. So please promise me that you're going to be careful as you go about the rest of your weekend and just every day in general. Okay? Listen, y'all know the drill. You know the spiel. I love you all to the moon and back, and I want nothing but the best for you. That's why I take my time 4 times a week to speak life into you, because I want nothing but the best for you. God has something good out there for you, and he has it for me as well, but we've got to do our part. You've got to do your part, and God will do the rest. Love you all, and we'll talk again on Monday.